All right, welcome everybody. 1 o'clock sharp, Thursday, September 21st, 2023. This is Arman Rusta from Blue Liner, all juiced up for this topic today. Best practices in product development, product marketing, product management, coming to you live from multiple platforms for the first time. We hope it works well, whether you're joining us from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or straight up from Zoom, or catching this later on recording. We'll have that available as well. So I'll give everyone a minute or two to get your sandwich, get your lunch, and grab a drink, grab a tea, coffee, and join me for an interesting exploration, hopefully interesting, into a bit of my history, Blue Liner's history, what we've done, what I've done over these 27 plus years. Man, can't believe it's been that long in this space of basically inventing, creating, conceiving, bringing to market various products. So I'm going to jump around quite a bit. Those of you that know me know that's my style. A couple of different presentations, a couple of shots at the just kind of talking to you like this, and then walking around our lab. It's like a museum here of different products that we've invented and helped bring to market over time, and just thinking out loud and letting you into my brain as far as what I think about and look for when evaluating new products, new opportunities, and thinking about the challenges and what it's going to take and what it's going to cost to make it happen, to bring ideas to market and have success. So with that said, let me get back to a presentation. Here again, I'll jump around a bit. First, let me talk a little bit about my background, if you wouldn't mind indulging me for a second here. Let's share a screen. All right. So that's me back in the day, playing soccer and bringing that passion for teamwork, for collaboration. A team is a product, right? When we think about products, let's go beyond, a product you can hold in your hand. Obviously, we're in an app tech-centric world now. So apps are products, physical products. Your service, if you're a service provider, is a product. You are a product. I am a product. How we present ourselves, our body, how it functions, is a product as well. So let's think about it that way. And I always prescribe, and we've written a book about this. We have these the 7 pillars in the sports edition, and these principles that I'll bring forward because those principles apply to best practices in marketing, best practices really in life, and particularly in this case and for today in product development. So I've spent 27 years, my whole career in this space, developing products, bringing them to market. Not to go through the whole history, but we started with an amazing smart car tech product called Park Zone. We kind of invented it by accident because we were working on a bigger product called No Zone, a blind spot detector. And then we just happened across more of a gadget item, which I'm actually going to demo. I have one in the office here, and brings back great memories. One of my best friends, Charles Balsamo, and I working on this over our initial time out of college, brought it to market, sold it to a public company, won a number of awards, and we were definitely way ahead of our time. Before the term smart car was even invented, we were calling it like collision avoidance sensors and automotive electronics. A great space to be in, and kind of like cut our teeth as young entrepreneurs, young product developers. And then moving forward, years in the agency business, working with other products, from pet products to, again, actual services, to launching hospitals and medical practices and other alternative wellness product lines that's either sold in stores or had their own shops. What kind of signage, what kind of marketing, what kind of promotions and pricing. It's basically a holistic process, product management, right? You have to think about every aspect and every touch point with your community, with your location, with your potential customer base. All that culminated into, myself and Blue Liner being invited to join and be a founding member in Adjustco, which launched the successful product AdjustLock, which we'll get into, which has won many awards and has global distribution and a very IP-centric strategy, IP standing for intellectual property, which, when you have intellectual property, it's a great competitive advantage to be able to price your product a little bit higher or boast unique features that others can't necessarily copy directly. But not every product, has that luxury or benefit, and it's also an expensive strategy to pursue to protect your IP. And then fast forwarding to 2016, when we really took our agency experience and all of our technology engineering experience from web development, from like more traditional software development into the app space with a whole line of apps under the B Labs umbrella. And again, now managing, and I spend half of my day in product meetings. In fact, this morning, 2 hours with the Basement Sports team and just going through new features, improving old features. Every time you add something new, now it's a whole new stream to manage. So there's a bit of a synopsis of 27 years. And I want to say, I think this discussion here today and this focus on product marketing, product management, product development is something we're going to keep as a recurring theme. I think 1 hour here today is certainly not going to be enough time to cover all the topics. So there's going to be, again, a lot of jumping around and a lot of like dipping our toe in different aspects of product management. You have my commitment that if not once a month, at least once a quarter, I'll do a new update and installment, particularly on this topic. And I want to hear from you all. So if you're on Facebook and LinkedIn now, or hearing it live or coming in later, please comment, add questions, add topics you'd like to see covered, and I'll evaluate those. And or if you have a product and you want to do an audit or an evaluation, maybe I'll bring some of you all on and we'll look at it live and give you kind of a live, we'll have a live interaction. So this is going to be a series, a collection in terms of this kind of workshop, let's call it, which is what it is. So going forward a little bit, again, a bit about Blue Liner. And if you want to actually inquire about services, and I'll talk about this at the end as well, you could see some of our specialties in terms of prototype development, go-to-market launch plans, integrations between app and web, which is becoming a big trend. And we'll talk about other trends as well. Hacks, actual hard tech products, another huge trend. Some of you were on my talk last week with Shahab Salami of Dick's Sporting Goods, formerly with Nike. He talked a lot about digital transformation and the fact that every company needs to be thinking about their technological and digital transformation and realizing that it's a new reality, and that we have to think about the digital and technology touch points for any product or service that we have. And that's something we help our clients with, the IP strategy we spoke about. So there's some contact information at the bottom. You could reach out on our website or through the info line, info@blueliner.io. And we'd love to talk to you if you have an idea that you want to explore. Now, about some of the things we've worked on, again, award-winning with all of the products pretty much we've had our hands on, have won different kinds of awards and gotten accolades, including the AdjustLock. Peter Drucker, one of the modern fathers of marketing and management, probably in every MBA syllabus, talks about how innovation, or really product development, is really a cornerstone of every business. That and marketing, right? So put those things together, and that's basically the way to win. You have to win and be ahead of the curve in terms of what features and value-added benefits your product has over others that may be in the market. So we're going to sprinkle in some of our principles as we talk through this, as well as case studies like this. I mean, Canon launched this dual fisheye lens product a couple of years back, a little less than a couple of years, for the holiday season. And we were actually on board as a product marketing partner, ran a very successful campaign. So this is obviously a whole bunch of product development and product research and knowledge from, Canon's R&D team. We were no part of that, but to their credit, understanding that VR and AR and these trends for how do you bring media into the new era here. And they really hit the mark. And of course, there's competitors in this realm as well. But when you have a brand name like Canon and you mix that with some cutting edge technology, which people would expect from a brand like Canon, and then you market it well in terms of the visuals, in terms of how this campaign, I urge you to look this product up and see the visuals, the videos, because it's a new technology and it's a lens that goes on top of a certain type of camera line that they have. So there's a bit of learning that comes with anything that's on the cutting edge of innovation. And that's one of the important rules of product marketing and management, that education component to make sure your early adopters are well versed and aren't frustrated with how to use your new product or technology so they could become your brand advocates. And then the rest of the group that's been waiting to see what the early adopters say will come on board and follow on, be like the fast followers. So this was a nice case study we had. Health City as well. Again, a hospital, a whole product as a whole service practice with 150 doctors. Dr. Shetty, if you've heard me speak about him before, his vision for, and the interview with Shamari Scott, who's Chief Business Officer at Health City in the Cayman Islands. So to take a whole medical concept and say, we need to be closer to the US to provide service, but we can't be in the US. So when you talk about what your market demographic is, but how to access that market with a product, I mean, do we really need another hospital? There's so many already, but the vision for Health City was medical tourism. So it's a different spin on services that are being performed in the market of the US, but it needed to be outside of the US for various legal reasons and pricing. And it's really a pricing strategy and a quality of service strategy and a bit of a different model. So it required many, many years of education in the market, but it needed the right leadership, the right messaging, and a really holistic strategy, which is one of the main principles here. You need a kind of a holistic view on your product strategy. And just some other examples. I won't hone in too much on this because I want to move back to the other presentation, but this is more on the technical side of some of the other products that we've worked on and are working on at Blue Liner and B Labs on the more tech side. Obviously, you have to show your features, right? Features is what helps you win. So in this case, it's Basement Sports, and it's the streaming, the ability to stream, not just have quick games and quick informal sporting games and contests set up at home, in the backyard, at a birthday party, fun for the whole family, fun for the whole team, group of friends, but the ability to then stream that and cast it to a TV or a screen in the space so kids could see themselves on screen and they get excited. And then to share that casting in more of a live stream, like we're doing in this video, to other friends, other family members on social media, privately in WhatsApp groups, right? So, using common icons, like you see people understand a streaming icon in general, and then making sure that the user experience of the application is able to actually make it easy to find those new features, and then to showcase it through a lot of, again, customer education, marketing videos, social media posts, etc. And again, a team is a product. I always love to highlight the greats like Jordan, but in this case, right, a quote from a great saying that, one's own individual greatness isn't enough. He could be a key component and feature of the Chicago Bulls, but it's the teamwork and it's the way the features work together. They're not just, imagine having 5 great players on a team or on a court, but they're all individuals. They're not thinking like a team. That's like having 5 great features in your product, but they're disjointed. It's like, why are these features even together? Should each one be its own app, own product, or do they really flow and complement each other and support each other? So think about it in the analogy that way, that teamwork is really like the features and the whole flow of your product line, right? Or your product variations, maybe it's different colors or different sizes that need to really flow together and complement each other well. And yes, an actual sports team, beyond the analogy, is a product, and a coach and a GM has to put a product on the court so that customers will pay either, buy their television subscription or actually go to the arena or stadium and spend their hard-earned money to watch that product, right? To consume that product. So absolutely, every team, every form of entertainment is its own product, and all the details need to be thought out for that product to come together effectively. Another one of our products, which I'll demo here, do we need another food product, and why? You have to answer the question, why? Is it because that neighborhood needs it? Is it because it's better ingredients or some new food technology or type of concoction, special formula, special recipe? And one has to answer those questions in order to, make a case and have a real value proposition for that market. So let me take a quick breather and break here. Also welcome anyone who's joined in late or midstream. We started about 15 minutes ago. We'll go till the end of the hour. Again, this will be the first in an ongoing collection and series of talks on product management, product marketing, product development, really innovation and inventions. It's what I've been doing my whole career. I want to welcome everyone from Facebook, LinkedIn Live, YouTube. Please share it out with others you think may be interested, which would be anyone who's in the marketing or development or conception of products and services. I'm going to shift over to another presentation here. Stop this share and share a new screen. So give me one moment for that. All right, so let's, again, best practices. It's a big word, commonly used term. This is just what I've learned and seen, through 27 years of doing this myself, for clients, with our own products. Tons and tons of mistakes, some pretty good success stories along the way, and want to leave you with some really important takeaways and trends that I see, opportunities that are there, regardless of whether you're thinking about. Everyone has ideas, right? And I talk to people every time you go to a trade show or an event with a booth with a product. People come up and they're like, "Well, I had a similar idea, or I had this idea," and it's amazing. And I always encourage that. And so hopefully part of the takeaway is what you can do with your idea, and just even evaluating whether it's worth pursuing, which is part of the R&D and the research phase. So before getting into it, just kind of take a moment, maybe get a notepad out, and remember, everything's a product, and everyone's a product manager in some form or another. A farmer, is a product manager, managing their crops, managing the food that they produce. That's their product. Each of us is managing, again, our own body, our own lives. That's a product. But make a list of 10 products that you interact with most on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, our phones, our mobile devices, your iPhone or your Android phone would be high on the list. So there'll be some tech products, whether you drink milk every day or have coffee, whether you're making it or buying it at a local store, those are products. So just make a little list, jot down, 10 or more, products that you interact with often, every day, every week. Your car, right? The public train system, transit. Again, food that you buy, what you watch on TV, your Disney Plus subscription, right? Your keyboard, your mouse. And just realize, how many different types of products are in your life. Now, as you start conceiving that and writing your list, whether you could do either on the spot here during the session or afterwards, then maybe highlight 3 that are like very frustrating. What are the 3 most frustrating products you have in your life? People don't like sometimes their cable provider, or some subscription they have, or you can't get in touch with customer service. Maybe it's the school, that your kids go to, and you're not so happy with the product. Maybe you like the school, but you don't like the teacher they have in a certain class, right? Or it's the coach from their team, right? All of those are products. So maybe highlight 2 or 3 products in your life that you use that you're not happy with, and why. It's a good exercise, and this is usually how new products are born, when people see gaps in markets or problems, and then they say, you know what, I'm frustrated. I can't get a good sandwich in my neighborhood. So let's open a sandwich shop, right? For an example. So yeah, that's just a bit of a personal, and also in your professional life, of course, different products, different softwares, using MailChimp for email, whatever it may be. Let all that be part of your list, and then circle a few you're really happy with, a few that you're not so happy with, and why. And that's really part of this process. And if you're part of a product team already with whatever your own products or company services are, think about making that list of what are the products that your company offers, and try to give an objective evaluation, right? Because that's what I would do. If you came to me and said, we need to improve, or why aren't we getting the customers we want? The first thing we do is an audit, right? We want to see how effective our current products are, and then how can we make them better. So with that said, before getting into some of the other, because a lot of the rest of the presentation is just kind of the steps and stages of product marketing, product management, really more the management side. We don't go too deep into the marketing, but here's some trends and opportunities that I see right now. Not just sustainability, but I just kind of made up this term today, to be honest, mutual sustainability. And what I mean by that, and I listed Grubhub and Amazon as 2 examples. And this isn't to be negative, because these are services that all of us use. I use every day. I just, instead of going across the street to grab the coffee, I ordered it on Grubhub because it would help it be ready for pickup and save me a few minutes. So that's why I like using Grubhub or Seamless or whatever you use for your food ordering, especially in a walkable city like this, like Jersey City. Here's the problem though, right? And what I mean about mutual sustainability for the customer, for me, it's great because they've got my credit card and payment, and I can order from Hidden Grounds Coffee, which is my favorite spot, or any other. It's got all my information saved. It even knows my best orders. So it's really helping load my cart for a quick reorder. The coffee shop doesn't love it though, right? Because they've got to pay 30% to Grubhub. So they're always trying to promote their, hey, download our app, right? But do you really want 60 apps on your phone, one for each different restaurant? I mean, it becomes cumbersome, right? So it's different products, like my cell phone, which doesn't have enough space, right, to store 60 new apps. So I like the one. As a customer, I like the one, but I have to realize and respect that, and this is what I mean about mutual sustainability. How do we find a win-win solution? How do I make sure that coffee shop doesn't go out of business because they've got to pay all their margin to a big tech company, Grubhub, which I enjoy. So a lot of times I find, and this is a big trend and something to think about as a consumer, a lot of things we enjoy, like Amazon Prime is another example. We all love Prime. None of us like to pay for shipping, so we take advantage of Prime, right? We pay Amazon extra money, right, for a Prime membership, so we can get quote unquote free shipping as a customer. How do the business owners that have to manufacture those products feel about it? I can tell you, because we're one as Basement Sports, and it was a terrible experience having to deliver product to customers all around the country for free and not get paid for it, because guess who pays for it? You have to pay for it. So we were selling a $50 product in a starter kit, and it was a big box, and it cost us a minimum of $15 to ship it, which means we're making $35, and then all the other cuts that Amazon takes. So it's kind of Amazon's way of, trying to offer a great service to the customer, but it's at the expense of the small businesses and the smaller business owners. So it's a challenging trend, right? It's like big companies that have pockets and pockets of cash can do these things, and free shipping, and kind of make all these bold offers. And at the end of the day, the company's paying for it. So the solution's not really ready-made, but I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for new providers to come up that maybe take less of a cut. I mean, there's some margins and pricing analysis there, but how do we support local businesses and make sure we understand, you know what, maybe I should walk across the street and just buy it on site, keeps more money in their pocket, and maybe it's a little less convenient for me. So it's a bit of a balancing act between what's convenient for the end user, what's sustainable for the small businesses and the businesses that you're buying from, and then these intermediaries, let's call them, like Grubhub, Amazon, et cetera. So this is a big trend and opportunity for whoever can solve those pain points and make sure it's kind of win-win. Everyone can make money, and also, as we know, the price of everything's going up with inflation. How do we manage that? That's a really collective, mutual problem to solve, not just something that one group's going to solve, right? So being a good, again, team player with your whole environment, your whole community. I see that as a huge trend, opportunity, ecosystem development, and transparency. So everyone knows the margins and can kind of share equally. It's a deeper topic for another time, but going forward, obviously AI, lowering the cost and speed of product development cycles. It doesn't matter what kind of product you're working on, but if it's a physical and a visual product, it's unbelievable what you can do nowadays. And I'm going to give a quick demo here in a second, using some AI tools to help come up with concepts, design ideas, whether it's fashion or furniture or whatever it may be, some tech product, whether it's an on-screen product or an app. These AI tools are becoming more and more savvy at being able to it's just like part of the brainstorming team. And you know what, with that said, let me actually just show you, let me go through this list, and I want to come back to this and actually demo something there right here on this point. Right. So now, again, developing an MVP and iterating. Obviously, that's just a good best practice. You save money by doing a minimum viable product and then get feedback and then iterate from there. That's just not even just a trend. That's just an ongoing recommendation and best practice. I want to illustrate another client we've worked closely with and talk about elite customer service, because again, sometimes it's a good product, but you can't get someone on the phone. You don't get a response to customer service. It's so basic, but it's hard because you have to be profitable as well. And make sure that there's good customer knowledge, good knowledge, product knowledge for the people providing customer service, right? And then this part, values-based marketing and partnerships. This gets more into the marketing side, but it's a huge trend, right? Look at what, again, Messi is doing. And of course, that's Messi, but we can talk about different influencers and different people, not just in athletics, but in all walks of life that are part of the product, the players, but who able to take a percentage of ownership and really align their interests and values with, again, the television rights, the different contracts they have, a percentage of ownership in the team, so that they can fully represent that organization. In Messi's case, it's Inter Miami, as well as all of the MLS, and basically raise the bar and the valuation of that whole industry, soccer in the whole country here in the US, as a result of the way that product, if the product is soccer and then the product is the MLS league and the product is Inter Miami, right? And then the product at a micro level is Messi, the player, and creating alignment and synergies across that whole spectrum for US soccer. It's like the perfect alignment and win-win, again, similar to the mutual sustainability. So yes, values-based marketing, not just someone doing a quick endorsement for a few bucks, right? And customers could really tell when there's a deep alignment, someone that really believes in that product and can represent it very well. There's no better marketing than that. So with this kind of trend analysis, and this is just basic, we can go over, there's probably 10 more trends we can talk about. But again, for the interest of time, I want to dive in deeper into this customer service and this AI. Let me go ahead with a new share here into a screen. Okay, one moment. Okay, so here we go. Pretty cool AI tool called Dream Studio. And what it does is based on your prompt. Again, you're a product developer. Someone's coming to you with an idea, or you have an idea in your mind. In this case, I just put in here, modern furniture, metallic, iconic. I'm not a furniture designer, but okay. And I got 4 images, right? And then you can click into each and then refine it and look at develop other iterations. Let's go ahead and click here and see what came up. Okay. If I want, I can go into this tool and set this now as the main image because this is the color I like, and then create other branches and other variations, right? And again, based on this prompt, these 4 keywords, probably someone who's in furniture design would be able to come up with some better terms here. So let's try something else just to show you a live demo. If anyone wants to prompt anything, please do put it in one of the chats, and whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, LinkedIn, or Zoom directly. But I'm just kind of thinking on the fly here. All right, let's see. Let's try. By the way, I'm going to focus on physical, hard products here, but the same types of tools can help even design screens for an app or an online, kind of software, screen-oriented product. Let's be creative here. Let's imagine we were in like aeronautics or something. Let's design something like, let's have an airplane. I always like terms like modern, flying. Well, obviously, tech airplane. What else? We could use colors. We could use other descriptors. It's a little vague. One other descriptor. Let's just go with that for now. A modern tech super speed multi-level. That might not be a good word. Let's just do this. Airplane. All right. Let's dream up, right? And see what it does. Interesting, that's not working right now. Let me go back to the home screen there. Okay, let me try that again. Modern tech. Stealth. Okay, right now, for whatever reason, it's not working. No, not enough credits. I have to refill on credits. You have to pay each time for each credit. So I guess we'll save that example for another day. I just did this one earlier and got the modern furniture. So we'll leave it there, for that example. Let me shift over to the second demo I wanted to give on Jack George's and elite customer service. And at Jack George's, which is, a 30-year plus old, wonderful product developer, handmade Italian leather bags, both for men and women. They have an amazing policy of a lifetime guarantee and warranty on your item. Very rare offering. A lot of their competitors don't do that, and they even give you instructions how to pack your bag and send it back. And if you check their reviews across the board on various websites, on their, not just their own, even on Reddit, you'll see people talking about how amazing and high quality the bags are, right? So they don't get damaged or harmed, too easily. But if they are, and wear and tear over time, these bags last a long time. You send it back and they will, without charge, repair it for you, which again is just a high level of customer service. And then they showcase it on their website. So it's not like a difficult thing to get to if you need that attention. And to me, that's we don't see a lot of that nowadays. We don't see a lot of that. I think it's a great opportunity. It obviously comes at a cost. Company has to evaluate if they're willing to invest that cost, but that's the way you keep loyal customers for a long time and get the kind of brand supporters and brand advocates that every brand is searching for, and every product should be looking to get those testimonials. We live in such a reputation management era, and people want all that feedback, but you have to take the good with the bad. And if the feedback isn't good and your product is getting too easily damaged or it's hard to get repaired, you're going to get some negative feedback. So it's a great work by Jack George's to keep that up, and certainly not an easy level of customer care, customer service to sustain. So let me go back to the core presentation here, and then I'd like to save some time, the last 5-10 minutes, for some questions, and also a live walk through our lab here to showcase some of the items that we have in the actual lab. So we went over trends. Again, key steps if you're starting out with a new product or just kind of considering, and you've already identified that there's a need, you're solving a pain point. Obviously, you have to conduct some market research, try to understand what's the size and opportunity in your market, get some feedback from users, either of existing competitive products or of the types of user base that your product would speak to. And then, as we talked about earlier, developing a prototype and testing through your MVP. Similar for tech products and apps, it's really a similar concept of market research. Sometimes it's hard with cutting edge technology and cutting edge products because there's not really existing solutions. So people don't know they need it until it's there, right? Much like many inventions we can talk about over the years. None of us knew we needed a smartphone before it came into our hands, and we realized, wow, this could really change my life. And so you're not always going to get through the market research the understanding from people about like why they might need something if your product is on that spectrum of really being like a new solution, or not even a solution, a new innovation that speaks to people and changes their life in a way that they didn't know they needed it to be solved or changed. As we talked about, market research, different ways to do that through focus groups, through surveys, and just general analysis of the market. Prototyping and testing, I'll talk about this briefly with some personal examples. With our blind spot detector, NoZone, it was such an amazing product. It actually never made it to market. We made it to market with ParkZone. NoZone we didn't, because there was extensive potential for liability. If that blind spot detector doesn't work just once in 100 times and someone gets into a bad accident, you're on the hook, right? It's like what self-driving cars are going through now. Like, great, this works well, but what happens when it doesn't work? Who's on the hook? Is that company, Tesla, whoever it's going to be, Uber, going to go out of business because of liability, right? How do you mix smart cars with human driving cars, and what's going to be the transition period there, right? So similarly, we had a blind spot detector, and two of my best friends, Chad and Gio, was right out of college. They were going to Florida, and we paid them to put the blind spot detector in the car and literally sit there, one driving, the other one taking notes for every time a car passed them. Did the sensor pick it up? Did it pick it up, or did it miss it? And literally for 15, 20 hours of driving back and forth, they tested that product. And yeah, that's what's required with a Just Lock. Also, we had a great lock, but would it withstand a kick on the door? When would that lock break? So we had to do the old strength test, send it to labs that would hit a door that had the Just Lock at different levels of pressure and see when it broke. And then you had to show those results to Home Depot and the big buyers to say, hey, our product's not just a cool innovation, but it's also strong. And it actually wasn't strong enough at first. And we had to make the metal thicker in the catch part of the lock in order for it to hold. The types of screws that you use, what's going to happen in the cold weather when someone puts it on an outdoor gate. So we had to do a weather test in both heat, but especially cold, to see when it would rust and if that cold would allow the product to be more vulnerable. Basement Sports is another example in terms of what kind of items you're putting in a product that's for kids. And is that plastic, or are those items small enough to be a choking hazard, right, for younger children? And we actually failed a couple of those tests and had to continue to iterate, failed by the standards of Amazon. And then that's why I have some bones to pick with Amazon, but I get it. They're trying to protect customers. And then you have California, which is its own beast in terms of the requirements it has for the kind of materials that they would accept, or the disclaimers you have to put on your packaging if you're selling into certain areas. Factory audits, and then is another whole area of stress for smaller and newer product developers. You might make a great product, but if your factory is not on the list or hasn't been pre-approved, that big box retailer might not take you in. So that's helping those smaller factories get up to speed and make sure they abide by certain standards, both ethical and otherwise, so that everyone could be comfortable bringing your product to the shelf. So these are some of the things that happen in the early stages of prototyping and testing, user design testing and feedback once your early product is there. And then just, again, agile development, continuous, I'll come back to this slide, but the agile process for software development and continuous integration. That's what we do, with KidCoin, with TimeBug, with Basement Sports. Any good product you see out there in the market that you're using on your phone regularly is going through this type of agile development process, constantly iterating. And this is part of product management. It's like you're managing an existing version, and in the meantime, there's a whole nother test server that's testing different features. And then the concept of A/B testing. We have a new feature, we think it's good, but we're not going to do a full rollout. Let's do a rollout with a test market with some different, user groups. And then that gets back to this slide of having different personas, different target user types, and really just building out these use cases. Usually using a flowchart, a simple tool like Figma, or even just a chalkboard or a whiteboard, any whiteboarding tool. Zoom now has good whiteboarding tools. There's many, many tools that offer whiteboarding. And it's literally just a flowchart. For example, with a lot of our products, they're for parents and kids and coaches, right? So the use case is, or the user story is, a parent moves to a new neighborhood with their 2 kids or family, and they don't know what activities are available. So they go online and they do a search for sporting activities or fitness or recreation. They land on your site or your app or your website. Now they want to understand what the options are, how much it costs, who they can speak to, where there may be a free trial available. So that's what I just described. There's like a 6-7 step really use case, or you can write the user story and then look at your product and see if it offers a solution and an easy path for that user type, that persona, which is the parent in this case, to arrive at your offering, evaluate it, and hopefully keep moving down the funnel of actually signing up, or at least giving you their phone number or email. Now they're in your marketing group's marketing funnel for how you follow up and hopefully get them on board as a customer, or at least to the evaluation process, right? And that's a different persona than the teacher that's looking for a solution for their classroom, or the kid that, you know, is 11 years old, maybe has their first phone, and they're looking for apps and games and things to do with their friends, right? So that's a whole different use case. He's already at a birthday party or with a group of his friends, and oh, look at this app. Cool, something we can do together, right? That's a very different user story, a very different use case. Maybe they need permission for their parents or not. Usually for kids under 13, there's some kind of permissioning that they may need. And every company you can see, you know, from Uber to gaming companies to Amazon, are all going through that when they're trying to appeal to kids. How do we make sure we have the approval, especially if they need to buy something and pay for it, right? So you need to build in all of these different use cases for approvals and integrating with other family members that are part of this, the buying journey, let's say. All right, just again, a summary of bringing, you know, new ideas and inventions to market. What problem are you solving for? First question, this is if you're coming to me with a new idea, I'm saying, okay, well, what are you solving here, right? Can this be profitable? Is there other people, competitors trying to do it? Is there any intellectual property or IP available here? Maybe we should file a provisional patent. And then how quickly can we get a prototype or a beta that we can test and do some surveys? We did it for a Just Lock before we even formed, you know, a full operating agreement in a company. It was the inventor, you know, and myself, you know, two co-founders, getting in front of Grove Street over here in Jersey City with a little table, some free waters, and just, hey, get a free water if you give us 5 minutes and kind of take a look at our product so we can do a survey. And we surveyed hundreds of people, got great feedback. We're able to use that with, you know, to help convince investors to invest in the company, because 87% of people said that they would prefer our product to the traditional lock. So that's an early example of using your prototype beta to get feedback that could then help you get the capital needed and move forward with your product, and then continuing to iterate it by making the product stronger and strength testing and all those other components there to hone in on your true product market fit. And again, maybe in a future iteration of this collection of, you know, product marketing, product management workshops, we'll get into the product market fit, the marketing and all of that. We couldn't really cover all that today. Before you leave in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to switch over to my phone and just give you a couple of other product thoughts with products we have in the lab here. But definitely reach out to us at Blue Liner. You see 3 different ways to do so here. Reach out to me directly, or, you know, Steve Powell, our VP of Sales, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, any which way, through the website. We'd love to brainstorm with you. We'd love to have a meeting like this, or you could present your product to us and we could give you feedback, audit it, assess it, brainstorm with you on it. I am going to now switch over to another device. Share my screen. Bear with me for a second. I'm going to mute here. All right, so please do submit questions at this point if you have any. Here we are in the lab. I was talking about Exeter and Park Zone, and I just actually installed this. So what this device does is, imagine you're pulling in to the back wall of your garage. You can see this little traffic light. I'm actually going to reset it here. See this button? This could be a battery issue. Let's see. So this little gadget called ParkZone was my first invention, co-invention, using a little Polaroid sensor down here. I hope there's not a battery issue. That blinking red light usually means that. So you would mount this on the back wall of your garage and then hit this little button. And it will blink. And then when the light goes off, that means you're set. So see, I'm using this little pad. Imagine that's the bumper of the car. And now here we are, we're out of the garage. We're coming home. You see that green light? You're driving your car, you're getting closer to the back wall, the light turns yellow. And as we said in our slogan, when the light turns red, you're in the ParkZone. Cool little tool. I'm going to leave it up in the office. And by the way, when we did our marketing strategy at trade shows, we did just that. We put the ParkZones all over the booth. And from there, people would just walk up closer and back all day. And we got buyers from Brookstone, from Sharper Image, eventually into Sears and Kmart, all with this little gadgety item, which sold over $10 million in sales over the first couple of years. Just coming over, and I'm going to answer some questions in a minute. Just the kind of things we consider, right, in our product development. For Baseman Sports, we have a bat, right? We've got a blue bat. Here was another bat from another company, which you may have heard of, called Nerf, a great brand a lot of us grew up playing with. And one of the early issues we had with our bat was it would break a lot quicker. So it was a product quality issue, right? So there's always pricing versus quality and weighing how many things are you putting into your starter kit. Our baseball starter kit's right over here. Again, that big box that I told you cost $15 to ship. So another early mistake on our part was having a package that was too big for the price point, right? So we worked on for the next product, making it a smaller package, 1/3 the size, right? And much cheaper to ship. And that's actually 2 sports in one. So double the efficiency, 1/3 the size for the same price. So our next version of our baseball kit, we're probably retiring this and we're going to combine baseball and basketball. But that's another issue, making sure, the products can be efficiently packaged. But with this particular issue, the product quality, and I found out because my son and I would do little lightsaber battles, and the orange bat always lasted longer than the blue one. And this bat we've had for like 3-4 years. So kudos to Nerf for its product quality and for teaching us that we needed the similar type of PVC plastic to be made at a higher level of thickness. So that's the kind of feedback and detail and attention to detail you send to your manufacturers, to your partners, right? Same thing with balls, something as simple as this little foam ball, which is used for our Nerf basketball and baseball. And how much do you squeeze it before it loses its shape and its roundness, right? So it's like the thickness level. How heavy is it? If you make the ball too heavy, it could break windows. So as an example, this other ball we used for soccer, which I've had again for 4 years, we've kicked it around. Kids have done all kinds of things to this ball, but it's somehow maintained its shape and it's maintained its usability versus one of the early balls we had in the soccer kit. Our soccer kit did not have the right level of thickness to maintain its shape and be actually functional in this kind of indoor environment, which is where we play basement sports. Same thing with the sticks, right? What levels of sticks do you need to have for an 8-year-old child, a 10-year-old child, a 12-year-old? What if mom and dad wants to play? An adult that's 5'5" to 5'7" can't use a stick that's this short, even a stick that's this short. So it's about testing it with the different age kids in your market and finding a solution to be able to extend, which is what we're working on now, an extendable pipe that can go on so that you can easily create a stick with a longer length that can be more adaptable for different age kids. And I can go on and on. We decided to add this bag that's actually very nice, that can actually hold product. Once you take it out of the box, Now you get this nice bag. You want to pack the items and take it to a friend's house. You get that bag. That was a very last minute addition to our product set and something that people appreciated having access to. This Basement Sports bag, right? And it fits the sticks and the bats and a lot of things in it. And again, I can go on and on with our different products, but I'd like to take a couple questions before we reach the top of the hour. The last quick thing is this tape, a kind of tape that we use a lot to go on floors, to mark lines and boundaries. And this tape, this actually wasn't our tape. This was a tape from Adidas. And amazing job. This tape has lasted. It's coming off a little bit now, but it's lasted a long time. So, testing those kind of things, it's like an obsession and an incessant amount of testing to make sure you're getting the quality you need at the price point you need. So with that said, I'm going to take a couple of questions. We might have time for one here. Okay, question: at what point can a startup start spending on marketing, sales? What percentage of overall costs should be dedicated to those in the product rollout phase? Where's the best bang for the buck? I think it's a great question. Let me switch the camera around here and answer it. It might be the only one we have time for. So it's a great question. Obviously, that, as we said earlier, when you have those initial prototypes, before you do a full market rollout, doing some either social media marketing or some really hyper local marketing to be able to get an early audience to come in and truly consume your product, whether they're paying for it or they're getting it as part of some kind of focus group, and really getting that honest feedback. Assuming you've passed that stage and you've now created your first batch of product, or if it's an app release, now you're ready to go to the formal market. The app stores themselves, in iOS and Android, and the social networks like Instagram are great places. Let's say whether it's an app or a new product, tech product, just doing a little Instagram ad, 15, 30 seconds, something simple, and then you just target it. And that's something we help a number of our clients do, just some target marketing, 15, 30-second clip. It's going to come there. They're going to see it in Instagram. If it's interesting to them and it captivates them, if it's good marketing and messaging, you're going to get clicks. You're going to get clicks. You're going to get installs. I spend some money on new fashion companies sometimes I've never heard of, and you can talk to men and women all over. I think women more so for the fashion side, and they'll be captivated by things. And as we know, the algorithms are always watching what they're interested in, and we can leverage that to target market those particular items to the right audience. And it's, you're paying per click, you're paying per install, anywhere between, $2, $1 per click to maybe up to even $50. At the beginning, to your question about percentage of spend, you're always going to spend more money to acquire customers at the beginning if it's a new product or a new service. I wouldn't worry about that. Worry about getting that initial 100, that initial 1,000 customers to actually take your product and become advocates for it, because they'll start spreading the word and your marketing cost per acquisition will come down if you have a good product. And then ultimately your percentage for marketing as a percentage of your revenue should get to 25% or less. But at the beginning, it might be 200%, it might be 100%, which is why we need funding at the beginning of our product launch efforts. Okay, guys, with that said, I know there's some other questions that have come through, but I do want to stay on time. So I am going to wrap it up and just pull back up our product screen. Great, it's a pleasure having you all. Again, I promise to do this more often. Thank you guys for joining Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm sorry, not Instagram, LinkedIn. Next time we'll try to find a connection with Twitter and Instagram and other platforms as well. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Take care.